I'll go over 5 practice shortcuts I did not have when I started out as a jazz player on saxophone. Follow these leads and get an instant boost in your development. When I look back, thinking about when I started up in jazz improvisation on my saxophone, I often think, if I had known then. We all know this feeling. I really hope I can give you just that. Those 5 tips that will take years of your practice time and you'll get there faster. Hi there, I'm Søren Ballegaard and welcome to Søren Ballegaard's Saxophone Lessons. Number 1. Do not start with your scales. I know a lot of people who say, please learn your scales. You have to start with learning your scales when improvising. You need to learn your scales, of course. But the biggest impact on me was not learning the scales. Learning to play the chord notes and learning the chords by heart, memorizing these chords, was the biggest impact. Of course, I practiced this a lot. I practiced those chords up and down and up and down. I trained this many hours each day. But really learning them, hearing the chords, knowing how to play this in any order will give you an actual sound of the musical form in a tune. Whereas learning the scales is more of a mix of chords and passing tones. Let me give you a good example on the great tune of Kenny Dorham, Blue Bossa. Here are the scales fitting the chords of the first 8 bars of Blue Bossa. All one great D minor scale. Although there's one exception. Aside from the C sharp, it's one scale. All the scales and all the chords from Blue Bossa fit in one scale, this D minor scale, except the C sharp. You have the D minor scale from the 1st degree. You have the G minor scale from the 4th degree. You have the E half diminished chord. You have the A minor chord, which becomes an A7 chord. This means we have all the notes, all the scale notes, D, E, F, G, A, B flat, C, in one pool of notes. There are only 8 different scale notes, well placed in different octaves, all belonging to the same scale. All the chords are represented together with a bunch of scale notes or passing tones in every chord. Without further knowledge of the chords, we can just play D minor, one fat D minor scale, and it would fit the whole 8 bars of Blue Bossa in the first part, except that C sharp, of course, because we have all the chord notes in one scale. We have all the scale notes in one scale. Just play that D minor chord all over the place. Earlier, my solos would sound kind of like this, no direction, trying to hit some chord notes, but mostly just playing the scales up and down. This makes for a very, very messy solo. When you progress, you'll of course learn your scales, but learning your scales was not the most important thing to me. 2. Learn your chord notes. You'll need to learn your chord notes because they support the melody. And basically, when you're improvising, you make this alternate melody on the form, on the melody that's already existing. Most of the chord notes are in the melody anyway, almost no matter what tune you're choosing. Almost all the melody notes are in the chords anyway. So this, playing with chord notes, really gives a great direction in your solos. One of my experiences when I was studying at the conservatory was that most melody notes was actually the chord notes. Learning that the melody actually spelled out the chords and connecting them, this was a crazy eye-opener for me. Further you learn your chords, because chord note solo gives you so much clarity, so much direction in the harmonic function.
I'll be back.
I'll be back with more information on the harmonic functions in a second. What I mean by learning the chord notes and playing solos consisting of only chord notes is that you only play notes in your solo that's fitting 100% in the harmony. The harmony is played by you because you're playing a chord note solo. It's also played by the rhythm section, which fits the melody. So the harmony fits the melody, the rhythm section plays the harmony, and you are supporting this. So it gives a very, very, very good connection. You're playing a solo that's spot on, no wrong notes. You get a clear and recognizable solo when you play with the chord notes. Easy. Finding out this gave me so much ease in playing solos, just trusting the rhythm of a tune. Just being in the timing and adding a few connecting chord notes here and there, fitting the timing. By doing this, I learned to hear the harmony much more clear. I learned to navigate through a tune and sound great with very, very limited technical skills. I really wish that someone had been hammering this into my skull so I could understand it from day one. Number 3, don't sound like a chord note exercise. Practice melodies. I like technique. For a long time when I was studying music in the Netherlands and in Copenhagen, I could spend hours and hours just running up and down chords and chord patterns. I did not know and I did not think about how to really play music. This is of course the whole point of it all. I sounded pretty mechanical when I was playing. You will need to practice your chord notes a lot, but please do not sound like an exercise when you play music. This is how an exercise sounds like. Boring, no rhythm, no dynamics, and no exciting articulation. A really great discovery for me was to practice melodic structures. Probably logical to many, but for me it wasn't. I really had to find this out. What are melodic structures? A solo consisting of melodic structures sounds like this. Melodic structures are, for example, other ways to play your chord notes. Not always the full chord, but also pieces of it, and turning it around, playing it in different shapes. The minor 9 arpeggio. Minor triad down. A major triad down on that G minor chord. Use your creativity to find much more melodic structures that sound great. Be inspired to do this. This is your practice tools. Use these structures to make music. If I wanted to practice the above standing melodic structures over this tune, I would add them right in the tune on every chord. Blue Bossa could sound like this. This is a 9th arpeggio going up from the second 8th note. This pattern is a pattern from the 9s on the first beat, and in the second bar of 2 bars I start on the second beat. Here I play the offbeat pattern from the triad starting on the 7th. When I practice to play melodic structures, my practice feels more like I'm playing small games with the music. The game is to keep it inspired, keep it exciting. Make yourself motivated about your own playing. Check the link in the description below on chord pattern exercises. Number 4. Connecting the dots. See the future in music. I know it sounds ambitious, but a really great teacher at the Hague Conservatory, the late Peter Niewerf, told me to learn the melody and a guide tone line as well. I remember playing Days of Wine and Roses when I started. I played this extra G in there, this extra note, and he was like, "Hey, you're just beginning to play that melody, relax with the embellishments, don't play extra notes in the melody. It doesn't go that way." Also friendly, but very strict with the melody. Learn the real melody first, play this and then add a guide tone line, he said. When you have the melody and the guide tone line, you have everything, you also know the chords. Then you can start embellishing, and it was and is still true. I did not get it, and I did not realize the importance of this information at that moment. Later, when I think back at this moment about how important this information was, this could have saved me years of practice just doing that. What is a guide tone line? In short, a guide tone line is a line through a piece of music or through a tune consisting only or mostly of chord notes or long notes that are connecting to each other. Guide tone line on Blue Bossa could look like this. If we're looking at guide tone line on Blue Bossa, all the notes are connected to a following chord note, moving the shortest, easiest route to the following chord note, hitting exactly a chord note. If we look at our analysis of these chord notes, it's basically I start randomly on one of the 4 chord notes. I start on the C, this is a 7th of the D minor. In the second bar, I've also played the C, the 7th. Then I play the B flat, the 3rd of the G minor, and again I repeat that 3rd on that G minor. Then I move to the 5th of the E half diminished, the B flat. I move up to the C sharp, the 3rd of the A7. Then that A7, the C sharp, moves towards the D on the D minor, and then I move to the 9th of the D minor 9th on the E. If we look at the position of the notes compared to the chord, they have completely different positions. It's so much easier to find new ways in the music when you see the chords horizontally instead of only vertical. Connecting the dots, connect the chord notes this way have taught me very much about playing melodic solos. The guide tone line will help you to see into the future of your solo. You can plan the next step because you know what's coming. You're looking horizontally in front of you when you're improvising. You know where you're going. This is very important in melodic solos. You're welcome to check the video I have made on this earlier. Check the description below. Chord note solos. Number 5. Learn your basic music theory. I did not really keep great attention in the music theory class. I didn't understand it and I didn't think I needed it right away. I just wanted to play. What I realized later was that all aspects of playing got easier if I knew my underlying basic music theory. Do not start with your scale. Learn the chord notes. Don't sound like a chord note exercise. Practice melodies. Connect the dots, see the future in music. Learn your basic music theory. All the topics I mentioned in this video had much more and gave much more sense because it all connected, because I learned the basic theory. I'm not talking about all music theory, I'm talking about basic music theory. Just a few basic. What is the key of a tune? Learn that the second last bar of most jazz tunes, that's the key of the tune. Blue Bossa is in D minor. You look at the 15th bar, second last bar, D minor. That's the key of your tune. Recognize the 2-5-1. There are 2 2-5-1s in Blue Bossa. One from bar 5 to bar 7 and one from bar 9 till bar 11. 2 2-5-1s. Learn to recognize those 2-5-1s. Learn your basics. A while ago I made a video on how to spot these 2-5-1s in a piece of music. You can check it out. Look in the description below. When you're connecting the things you have in your fingers, the things you're practicing with your music theory, you get a much bigger connection in the whole thing. There are no shortcuts how to become better. There are only better ways to do the hard work. If you want to hear much more about saxophone music, music theory, and how music works in my life, subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. If you have a great method you want to share and you think, hey, if I had known this, put it in the comments below. I would really like to hear your version. I would give it a fat like, and we can all become better and getting there faster. Your support in likes, shares, comments are really appreciated. All links mentioned in this video is in the description below, so please play music and have fun.